The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. I am your host Sean Garmer, and this is the official video games podcast of W2Net.com, and of course we are in partnership with ForumMania.com as well. And here with me, as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, Mark, your SNES Classic has finally arrived.
Yeah,
and
I'll probably keep it because the secondhand market isn't great for it right now.
It's being flooded, huh?
Not really, but it's not like the prices that the NES Classic was going for. So
does it seem like there's more availability then for it?
In general, I think people got a lot more, I think when the NES Classic came out, it was a kind of surprise. When it came out, they didn't know it'd be that limited, so that helped. So I think a lot more people, they knew this thing was going to be pretty limited, and they pre-ordered it or waited in line for it.
So, how is it?
It's fine. It's a cute, it fits in your hand. It's a cute little SNES. It has 21 games on it. I played a few. I played, Donkey Kong just for a minute, Mario, I think Kirby, one of the Kirby's, the not golf game. You alright?
Choked on the coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cute, and I think my comment to you though was it's just like my modded Xbox, only with 720 less games on it.
And I wonder how long it'll take before you'll be able to mod it, I guess.
Well, it's the same hardware as the NES Classic, so I don't envision it being too long. It only has 512 megabytes of memory though, so, and I don't think you can expand it easily. So probably you can fit maybe, I don't know, 100 more games on it, maybe 200, depends on the ROM size, but that's about it.
That's probably enough for most people, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many SNES games I have on my computer right now, but that would probably be the amount. So.
Yeah, my modded Xbox just has all of them from all regions, but, yeah, there's probably, I'd say 50 good, SNES games, if you really thought about it.
Right.
More if you wanted to get into, the Japanese or, ROM hack stuff or anything like that, but, yeah, it's cool. It's it's cool looking, and that's kind of about it. I kept joking, I just kept joking, it needs more games, but that'll happen eventually.
You haven't played Star Fox 2 yet?
No, first of all, I don't really like Star Fox to begin with. I really like Star Fox 64. That's
right.
The only game in the franchise I actually like. I thought even back in the day, I really just like Star Fox because it ran slow,
right? And
it was hard. It's not a hard game. The enemies aren't hard. It's hard to play because there's no goddamn reticle on the screen, so you don't know what you're shooting at half the time.
Yeah, it was really made for the N64. The N64 was the one that really got the most out of it because it was kind of made well for that system.
Yeah.
It always seemed kind of like it was too far ahead of its time on SNES.
Yeah, I'll give them credit. They pushed that hardware to its breaking point, and Star Fox 2, especially so. You can, that's a much more ambitious sequel to be sure, but like the hardware just can't handle it. I don't think. Like, no way.
Yeah.
You can barely handle Star Fox 1, let alone, a game where you're like transforming and going into like bases and shit. Like, forget about it.
Yeah, that already sounds like way too much for that to handle, really.
But yeah, I'll dig into it. Like, I want to play probably Super Metroid at least, because now I can, because my original SNES is kind of like really jacked up, and certain games don't run on it correctly, like Super Metroid.
Yeah, you can play that.
My original SNES is weird. Like I have a save like right at the end of the game, like right when you face Mother Brain, and Mother Brain's head, like disappears and reappears constantly, and it's not supposed to do that. Like, it's really weird looking, and it's supposed to take like 3 minutes, and it takes like 10, because when the head isn't there, it's not there. Like, you can't hit it. Like, it's not just visually not there. It's just not there, period. Which sucks.
Yeah.
And then, right when, like, if you do manage to slog it out and get to the point where, like, Mother Brain hits you with that, like, laser beam thing, that drains all your energy, the game crashes.
Oof.
Which is fun. Like, I think I've talked to people about it, and there's some problem with my SNES's. They said PPU, like some processor on it's bad, which isn't really fixable. So, I mean, you can if you like gut another SNES and like transplant it, but I don't know how to solder, so I'm just kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But
that
yeah,
solves your issue a little bit there.
Yeah, you gonna try to pick one up, or?
I don't know. I'm still debating. It's like, if it had Chrono Trigger, like I think I've said a bunch of times, it would have been a day one for me. But
yeah, that's arguably like the one big missing game from this thing. Like, I would like Mega Man X2 and 3, or half dozen other games for, honestly. But Chrono Trigger is the big one that a lot of people would like. Like, dump the Kirby Golf game and put Chrono Trigger on this thing.
Yeah, just seems like a total why? But yeah, I mean, it has some really good games or whatever. I'm tempted, but if I knew Anaya would play them, I would have got it. But to play for myself, I don't know.
Well, it is nice to have the second controller at least, and like, I don't know, like games like Mario 2, like Yoshi's Island, or like even the Kirby game, like the mini game Kirby game would be fine, because that's co-op.
Yeah, and the Mario Karts and all the even the Super Mario World, because you can just take turns. It's me and my sister used to play that for hours.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a fun little thing.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. I've been still playing Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm 14 hours in, and I just got out of the tutorial area. So, go me.
Hey, at least you made it that far.
Yeah, it's a long and brutal game.
14 hours for a tutorial? Is it because you didn't know where you were going? Is it because it's really that long?
I didn't know where I was going for a lot of it, because, like I said last time, like, the map, like the mini map indicators stay on the screen regardless of like where you are in the plot, in the quest line.
Right.
Which is very strange to me. And also, it's just a hard game. Period. Like, that took 14 hours. Like, where I completed it, like that's probably like 20 because I kept dying over and over, or stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going to take me a while to review that game if I don't just cheat or anything. I have cheated a little. I could just give myself like some more money, because I always do that in games. But
why not?
What else? And I played Microsoft Mahjong and Bingo.
Why?
I was bored. I kind of like Mahjong. but their bingo application blows because it crashes constantly.
I think it's been a while since I played Mahjongs.
I played
Those
a
are- Go
hidden
ahead.
adventure game. I mean, a hidden object game where you could either find objects or you could just play mahjong to find everything. And I just did that instead. And I was like, well, this is kind of fun, so let's play Microsoft Mahjong instead. Like the only problem with those games is they're all online.
Right.
Like they're all like ad supported, and which is like lame because the game like hitches up and freezes for like 10 seconds to load up a new ad, and it's like, man, you guys are cheap.
That
Like even
sounds so annoying.
like Solitaire has ads, and it's like, you cheap bastards.
Wow, Solitaire has ads now. Just
And you see that they got rid of like the Microsoft Paint program.
yeah, that was a while back. Oh,
Yeah, but they introduced a new one. We have to pay for it.
stupid.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that's about it for me. I kind of want to get back into World of Final Fantasy if I can. Like, I played that game for like an hour and I gave up on it.
That
But
game's really good. I liked it anyway. I mean that one character is annoying as hell, but
well, at the time I got like overloaded with games, so like that
Yeah.
and Mass Effect Andromeda like quickly got pushed to the wayside, and I started playing like Nier and Injustice 2 and all that stuff. But I want to go back to those games if I can. and I finally got my Vita kind of working.
hey, one step in the process. We'll be talking about Vita here in just a little bit. I'm sure you know what these are by now, but if you haven't for some reason, Microsoft Games for Gold, Gone Home, October 1st to the 31st, the Turing Test, October 16th to the November 15th, which is a puzzle game set in Jupiter's moon on Europa, and you're an engineer that's sent over to the space agency. It has a 74 Metacritic score on PC. Don't know what it is on Xbox One, but came out last year on PC and Xbox One. So you, I know you don't have an Xbox One, but and then of course Oxenfree is still there too until the 15th. Rayman 3 HD, first part of the month. Medal of Honor Airborne, second part of the month. Games Pass, State of the Decay Year 1, really good game. Street Fighter 4, I have that game on disc. It's also pretty good. Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, which has been free, I don't know, for both PS4 and Xbox One.
It goes free every like 6 months or so.
Yeah, Costume Quest 2, really good. Tower of Guns, yeah.
I like that game.
And Maldita Castilla X Cursed Castle.
That
Yeah.
knowing Spanish is paying off very well, isn't it now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I learned it for. No, go ahead.
I like Tower of Guns. Like, it doesn't have a great art style, but it's kind of an interesting game.
That game did not flow well with me at all.
And I like State of like. I'm curious about that new State of Decay game. Like, I've tried to play the first one, and I just can't get into it. I don't know why, but I like the idea of it.
It feels like it's sort of trying to give you the Walking Dead the game vibe.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, it's a neat idea. I just don't like the base building crap. Like, that's just, man, that's boring.
I don't know why games feel the need to put that in there. I know Minecraft's a thing. It doesn't mean your game has to have it.
I think the first State of Decay like that was that was like before like Minecraft was out, but that was before like all the Minecraft games were like really hitting their stride.
Right.
I think that was just a coincidence, but yeah, there's something about that game that does not click with me, and I've been playing it off and on like recently within the past week or two, and it's still it's too weird for me.
That's one of those that I always meant to play, but I didn't. And the second one seems Like, and it makes it more actiony, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Gone Home is a really good game. If for some reason you haven't played it by now, that thing's been free on I don't know how many things. Oxenfree is awesome. You should go pick that up. Really enjoyed that game. Rayman is Rayman. I mean, honestly, at this point, you haven't played a Rayman game, I guess start with a free one and see what you like. And it's been a while since I played a Medal of Honor, so
Yeah, that franchise never clicked with me.
I remember Warfighter came out and then no one cared.
Yep.
PS Plus, PS4 has some awesome games. The Amnesia Collection, definitely pick that up. And of course, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, one of the games of the year last year. Definitely need to pick that up. I don't know if I will play it or not, but it'll be there.
Well, you can add it to the collection at least, yeah.
Yeah. Hustle Kings, which I don't know what that is. Monster Jam Battlegrounds, and Skyforce Anniversary, which is also cross-buy with PS3 and PS4 and Vita, and Hue, which is a cool little indie game, also cross-buy with PS4. So, PS4 games, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will move on here to the news, and it seems like the video game voice actor strike may end soon because there's a new contract that's on the table. The Screen Actors Guild is going to vote on it in October, and it has changed some things from the earlier revenue-based system that it seems like developers had agreed on in May. Now they're going to have bonuses based on sessions worked, starting with $75 for the first session, and you can get up to $2,000 after 10 sessions. You got to be paid before the game is released or on the day the game is released, which changes from basically that same system they used to have before where you get royalties and that kind of thing. Aside from the extra pay. And hey, this is good. It seems they also kind of want to let the developers know that they are going to be monitoring for stress issues. And now you have to tell, which may result in more leaks if these people are not intelligent enough to understand. Make sure you watch your LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. That they have to now disclose more information about code names, genres, and any sexual or violent content that's featured in your game, so that I guess they can opt out if they don't want to do it. But yeah, I mean, this is good. It seems like not a lot's been talked about with this strike for a while, but
yeah, that's why I kind of ignored it in the news. I kind of forgot about it.
But good for the video game industry and for the voice actors, I guess.
My only hope for this thing is they re-record Life is Strange Before the Storm with the actual voice actors from their first game.
It would be nice. Let's do that, please. Let's do that. Still would be nice if we, pay the developers more. That
yeah,
too,
like, them wanting more money for sessions is fine, like, I guess. Like, but they I think they wanted, like, residuals after the fact, and it's like there's no way they're getting that. Like,
yeah, you can.
Keep
the developers hardly get royalties and stuff. I mean,
yeah, so unless the voice actor's also coding the game, like they're not going to get residuals.
Exactly. So this came out. It's been a couple days now, but hey, it's still details on freaking Red Dead Redemption 2. So why not? The game is officially a prequel, even though we're calling it Red Dead Redemption 2. Why not just call it Red Dead Redemption something else? But okay. And it's going to star a new character, Arthur Morgan, not John Marston. And you're going to be basically taking part in Dutch's gang, which is the gang that John Marston eventually joins and leaves in the first game. The trailer looks really awesome. Yeah. Sheesh.
I envision like at some point John Marston will join the gang and he may like kill your character in the end or something like that.
I could see that happening. You mean like at the end?
Yeah, and then you like play as him, like the way they did with Redemption.
You think they might have like DLC where you can play with him, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if they can get the voice actor back, and I think he hasn't like burned the bridge, unlike some voice actors. So,
I mean, and it's also going to have the Red Dead Online mode. Seems like anyway, which would be kind of appropriate since GTA is making so much money on that right now.
But like Red Dead Redemption had online mode, and people didn't really like it. Like it'll be more blown out, but I think people like GTA 5's online mode because it has stuff like you can get like cool looking cars or like helicopters or like what are you gonna do? Like buy a faster horse? Like who cares?
Yeah, you're gonna, are you gonna breed horses?
You're gonna buy like a mechanical horse or something.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Or but yeah, when it comes out, I'll try to play it if I can. Like I like the first one or the second one, I should say, quite a bit. I don't think anyone played the first one.
Yeah, I never played Gun. I have Red Dead Redemption sitting there at some point if I ever like.
Gun isn't a Red Dead game. You're thinking a Red Dead Revolver.
Oh, Revolver. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I have both that and the Undead Nightmare or whatever. And my PlayStation 3 is still sitting there downstairs. That's the problem. Is if I can ever get a TV in the other room where I'm not having to use the TV that everybody uses, I might go down there and play games on the PS3. But yeah, I still have both of my. Why can't I think of it now? I can't think of the name, so I'm not gonna go on with it. But they're the last two PS3 games. They're like an RPG that's made by Exceed.
Ni no Kuni?
No, not that. The PC version of it just came out like sometime this year.
You're probably thinking of Altair or something like Wise or something like Wise Origin.
Neither one of those, but I will look at it when I get off this thing, and I'll be like, why the hell could I not remember the name? But yeah, I have both of those sitting there, and I think I played part of one for a little while. So yeah, speaking of what you were talking about with your Vita, Andrew House says that officially Sony is not going to make a Vita 2. No surprise, really, but just in case anybody was wondering, his feeling is that we have not seen handheld gaming outside of Asia as being a huge market opportunity. The Vita experience was that outside of Japan and Asia, there was not a huge demand. The lifestyle shift toward the dominance of smartphones as a single key device that is always with you was the determining factor.
I mean, that's true, but also Sony never really got behind the Vita, like, completely. Like, if you really think about it, like, there's not too many first-party Sony games on that thing that are, like, stand out. Like, there's a crappy Uncharted game, and, like, a Wipeout collection, and that's kind of about it.
You think it's crappy? I've heard a lot of people like that Vita Uncharted game.
It is a passable game, but it's the Uncharted franchise. Like, passable is, like, a very low bar for that franchise. And also has, like, a bunch of, like... It is. Like, I mean, Uncharted 1 is kind of funky at the time. Like, looking back on it, it's funky, but at the time, it still blew people away. And, like, 2, 3, 4, even, like, Lost Legacy, it's like, these are, like, standout games. And an okay Uncharted game, like, people don't want to, deal with this okay. And also, like that, I think that Uncharted game had like a lot of like weird, like gimmicky controls and shit with it built into it, which didn't help.
It's probably why they couldn't put it into the Uncharted collection.
Oh
Also,
yeah,
because it
like
didn't live up to the quality of the other games.
yeah, like there's like this thing like you have to like examine objects with like the back, like the touchpad on the back of the Vita, and I think this is awkward. This is really awkward.
Yeah, they were. It's like when the PS3 tried to do the 6-axis thing. They went really gimmicky with the Vita.
Or even
for a
like
little.
early PS4 games did that too. Like
Yeah.
Infamous Second Son, like spray painting the wall with like the PS4 controller. It's like, this is dumb. Like, why are you guys doing this?
Yeah, that's. Didn't you gain something though with spray painting the wall, or?
I mean, you gain like experience points, but you have to like
Yeah.
shake the controller to, like as you're shaking a spray can. It's like, this is stupid.
Yeah, that seems really annoying.
Like the Vita, I think the Vita's a great piece of hardware, and it was like compared to the 3DS, it knocks it out of the park, like tech-wise.
Right, exactly, yeah.
They just never got behind it, and you look at the PSP. I mean, they got behind that quite a bit comparatively, but even still, it's not that much. Like,
yeah, they also didn't really seem to learn from the errors they committed with the PSP too.
yeah, if anything, like they made more errors with the Vita than the PSP, which is like sad when you think about it.
The first one was making you have to. Well, for a while they made you use the Vita the Sony Vita charging cable. You couldn't use another one. Then
Yeah,
they changed that, but then they never changed it to where you could use some other kind of memory besides the overpriced.
That's a big one. Like, I tried to look online for like a 32 gigabyte stick, and it was still like $60, and I'm like, fuck that.
It's like, I could buy a new game for that.
I could buy a micro SD card for 20, you know, figure out how to mod my Vita and do that instead.
Yeah, you could buy a really big micro SD card for that price. I mean, I think my 200 one that I have in my Switch was like 70.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
that actually is.
Sony.
Like, if you do hack the Vita, there actually is like an adapter for micro SD cards.
Right, but it's like you shouldn't have to do that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be there for the common person to do without having to find a workaround to do that. And it's just, not to mention Sony just stopped supporting it with first-party games. Yeah, great, it became the indie showcase system, and you had all the Japanese developers supporting it, but...
The crossplay system, yeah. Like a 32 gigabyte memory card for the Vita right now is $40. No, it's 16 gigabytes, sorry, is $40. That's crazy. That's like 2005, like if you wanted to buy, a USB stick or something.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you buy one and you can just delete stuff when it gets full or whatever.
Yeah, but like people want to carry around a bunch of games, and they may not always be online.
Yeah, that's true. And the way they are with the Vita, where they already took apps off of it and stuff, I'd imagine that the online for that, who knows how long that's gonna last.
Yeah. Well, speaking of consoles that are going away, their stores are going away soon.
Yeah, I mean, Kmart is not the only set of stores going away. There's department stores going away. It's GameStop's probably not going anywhere for a little while at least, and Best Buy's probably okay. So, at least for now, there's Best Buys that have been closing. So it's just retail in general is not doing great, and things are going to be going digitally. And hey, when Amazon is creating more jobs in 46 states, I mean, it lets you know what's going on right now. But I mean, it's it is nice that Andrew House comes out and just kind of lets you know instead. It doesn't mean that they're not doing this, right? That they could just say saying no, and that they are creating something to combat the Switch. But he's saying that they have no plans to come out with a competitor for the Switch. He doesn't even feel that it's a portable. He just says it's a hybrid console that's
Yeah,
taking a different approach.
yeah, you can't exactly fit that thing in a pocket or anything like that. I mean,
It
if you
does
think
fit
about
in your
it,
pocket if
with the
you have.
controllers.
Yeah, I've had it. It fits in my pocket.
All right.
I mean, like it sticks out a little bit. It
Yeah.
doesn't fit all the way in like a 3DS. So if you're walking around and somebody can see it, you might get mugged, but it'll fit in there. It's not very comfortable to have in there like the 3DS. Like you definitely feel it, but to me it works. Like it works for what it's supposed to do. I can understand Sony, but hey, you know what? If Sony's saying that they don't feel like Switch is even hurting their sales, that it's just adding to business, then why are they going to compete with something that's helping them, right? So
Well, like there's two things. First of all, like the Microsoft never got into the portable market. It never got released or anything, but they had like mock-ups for like portable Xbox stuff. But
right.
I think they knew they could never take on Nintendo at the time, which is
yeah. I mean, they even had a smartwatch that they were going to make, and that didn't come out either.
yeah. And the second thing is like Sony's position is probably pretty accurate. Like if you buy a Switch, you're gonna buy all the Nintendo crap for it, and then if you want to play anything else, you can buy a PS4.
Exactly.
That's a dominant platform at the moment. So
yeah, because the the NBA 2K game that's out for it has some issues. The FIFA that's out for it is really good, but it's like FIFA, not even 17, 16 with updated rosters. So, if you're one of those people that you have to have the latest thing until they figure it out, you're still one to play it on your PS4. You're still buying. The Switch has now become the Vita in that it's the thing to play for indies. Like, any kind of indie game that I don't have already on my PS4 or Xbox One, I think I definitely would want to play it on the Switch. Like, I bought Sonic Mania on the Switch because it's a lot easier to be able to, carry that thing around and play, but it's not something that like, when I've just decided, no, I'm not going to, but when I was sitting there considering whether I wanted to buy FIFA this year or not, which I haven't bought it in like years, but I was sitting there going, oh, I might buy the Switch version, and then I find out all the things, and I'm like, I'll just get the PS4 one.
Yeah, get the PS4 one, like for sports games especially. Like, there's no question.
Unless they come out with like Mario Strikers or something, then definitely buying that. But even like it's hard for any kind of the AAA game to come out, and you're going, I'll take this lesser looking version than to play it on the PS, especially now with it seems like 4K is really gonna start taking off, and people are going to start replacing their flat screens with the 4Ks and get all that. Want to get the PS4 Pros and I don't know if that's going to extend to the Xbox One X or not, but
yeah. I think that's somewhat valid, but I think that like that doom and gloom scenario is like way too outlandish. Like there was a noticeable jump between having an old CRT that you had for 20 years and buying a flat screen that weighs nothing, that is essentially like thin, less than an inch thin, and replacing it with that. Like going from whatever flat screen you have to a 4K TV. I mean, yeah, it'll look better to some people, but most people aren't going to notice the difference either way.
I mean, you can tell the difference, and when you're playing games, it looks different. But I'm not saying that people are going to. I'm saying people. It's not like 3D. It seems like it's actually going to be sustainable, and people are going to do it. I'm not saying that everybody is, But I'm saying that as more things become available in 4K or whatever, people might decide as 4K TVs become cheaper, they might decide, okay, let me go have that one 4K TV in my house. Now, will they buy the Xbox One S or the PS4 Pro because of having that TV? I don't know. That's another big investment that you're deciding to make. But that is something that, and then it does all of a sudden just make you go, well, will the Switch work for this, or would I rather have my PS4 or my Xbox One? So, but then the Switch is also has its own thing. It's meant to carry around, be a portable. You can also take it to a friend's house and play. Like I used it with my family when we had the hurricane thing, and it was great. Like it was really fun to play Mario Kart and to play the you don't know Jack game on it and other things that I had on there, and it was like my whole family got to know what the Switch was, and they're like, oh, I kind of want one now, and so not that the PS4 and Xbox One don't do that, but just saying.
Yep.
Speaking of Nintendo, because why not, right? This is what they do. They are now, apparently, if you're part of their creators program, you are restricted from live streaming their games on the YouTube gaming service. They made this email available to the people in that creators program. This basically allows to where you can monetize your videos, but they'll still block videos that are not monetized. So it doesn't matter whatever you're doing here. But this is Nintendo once again doing their thing where they don't like their games being live streamed, and PewDiePie yelling out obscenities and racial slurs probably doesn't help either. But if you're a streamer, I guess, and you like playing Nintendo games, I guess don't be surprised if your stuff gets blocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's their attempt to weed out story spoilers, maybe, which is very bizarre because Nintendo games don't really have stories that much.
Aside from Zelda, yeah, you're right.
I mean, yeah, but even Zelda's there's no story in Breath of the Wind, really. I mean, it's just until the very end, I guess. But a lot of it's just do these little dungeons and stuff like that, or do the trials and stuff. Who cares?
I don't know. I really maybe I'm underestimating it or something, but I really think the amount of people that will decide to sit there and watch somebody play a game and then not want to buy it and go, okay, I saw the end, now I'm not going to play it or buy it, to me seems like a really small number.
I actually knew someone who did that. I think I was talking to her, and I think I was talking to her about GTA 5, and she was like, "Oh, I just watched it on YouTube. I don't want to play it now." And I'm like, it's first of all, that is a big story-based game, so that kind of can make sense. But just watching it, you don't get you don't get any of the flavor of the game. You don't know how it plays, or you don't know what could happen. Who cares?
Well, but for something like we were talking about before, like with Uncharted,
yeah,
that would certainly, once you watch that, and that happens, there's people that put all the CG clips together, and all the story clips together, and you just make it one big movie, and they allow that to sit there, and you can watch it, and then at that point, why do you want to play the game if you sat there and watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
But I still think I get it. I get that's becoming a culture. I get that's why we have live streamers. I get that's why we have Let's Plays. But I feel like there's more people that will watch a Let's Play and want to play the game and buy the game than there is people that will watch it and go, okay, I'm not buying this anymore.
Yeah, assuming the game is good at least, and most Nintendo games are, so...
Yeah.
I mean, you think it'd just be free advertising for Nintendo, but the Japanese culture, that side of gaming, really seems to have a problem with Let's Plays. Like, look at Atlas with what they did with Persona 5. Like,
Oh God,
I mean,
it's a
well,
debacle in itself.
we'll get into Atlas a little later down, but like they don't get it, and Nintendo doesn't get it, and it's like, okay, I mean, you can continue to try to stick your head in the sand like an ostrich and hope for the best, but people are gonna get around it either way.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, we're already here. Might as well, So there's apparently a PlayStation 3 emulator, which in order to run this, you have to have a really, really good PC.
Oh
Because
yeah,
a lot of PCs, just to run that PS2 emulator, that requires having a good PC. And my PC can run that, but with some games, it
mine
becomes a problem.
mine
So,
might. But like, a lot of it's just like brute forcing the game, hoping for the best.
right, so like if a PlayStation 2 emulator is already enough for most PCs, unless you have like the best gaming rig out there, this is going to be hard to run anyway. But so I think it's a small amount of people that are doing this, but I mean, they have a point. It's their game. Apparently, people are using the RPCS3, to emulate Persona 5 on PC. And of course, Atlas, their reasoning, I think, is fair. Like, we don't want their first experience to be frame rate drops or crashes or other issues that can crop up in emulation that we have not personally overseen. They've also claimed that they might be making a PC version of the game. Honestly, you should put all of your games on PC at this point. Most Japanese developers are doing it. Just do it. But
Yeah, like they tried to like DMCA the emulator creators, which is kind of fucked up. I think the team behind the emulator, like they used Persona 5 images,
right,
and that's what kind of dinged them. But they quickly removed that. But like emulators themselves are illegal. Like,
yeah, exactly.
so if I was them, I'd be like, fuck off, Atlas. Like, people are using this thing because you are too short-sighted to put your games on PC. Like, it's obviously demand. Like, get with it.
Right, and if you have, technically, if you have a PS4 version of the game, right, it would be legal for you to play it on PC.
Why?
Because you own a version of the game, right? Isn't that how that works?
No. If there was a PS4 emulator, you could play it on PC, but no, I think it's like software specific. Like, you have to have a PS3 version of Persona 5 to legally run it. But who cares?
Well, I meant like, okay, if you can show that you own a copy of Persona 5 already, like running it on your PC wouldn't really be illegal, would it? I mean,
not for the PS3 version. For the PS4 version, it would be, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, like emulation has always been a thorn. I mean, in like console manufacturers, like Sony tried to sue a few emulators back in the day and got laughed out of court, essentially. But I think it's good for preservation. I think, like, at a certain point, like, I think Alice has a point, like, the game is still being sold in stores. Like, it's a new game, essentially. Like,
Right, yeah.
cut that shit out. But something like Persona 4, maybe, like, I could see that, like, no problem, because you can buy it digitally, but that's not like buying it in a store. Yeah, and put your games on a PC. Like, that's the obvious solution. Like, Sega has done it to great effect, and so has other companies. So get with it.
I mean,
Square
Sega and Atlas are the same company now, so.
Yeah, but look at like Square. Like, they put damn near everything on PC nowadays. So, and they get money from it. Like, people.
Yeah.
Buy fucking Final Fantasy 9 when it came out to Steam.
Me? It's
they buy Final Fantasy 7 on Steam, and it's like,
yeah, people still buy that Final Fantasy 7 version when it goes on the sale. or whatever
Yeah,
to like 7.5 or 7.99. Yeah, so uh, I'm one of those people that have 9 on both PS4. I have 7 and 9 on both PS4 and PC, and
yeah.
I won't do the same thing for Final Fantasy 13 suite of games or whatever. I had them on my 360 and they'll stay there. But, it's
I I won't buy it. I hope to get it for review, but I will definitely play Final Fantasy 15 on my PC if I can, because I'm really curious about that game. But
but just for the graphics though, it's gonna be the same game.
pretty much graphics, yeah, and like just messing around with the nude models that'll come 5 minutes after the game is released.
I would want to check out the if the Pocket with the chibi characters or whatever came to Switch or something, but I think I'll leave the PC. Well, my PC would probably
Yeah,
crash trying to run that
it
game.
would
So
it,
it's
it, it would install, run for a second, and then the PC would just explode.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, because it's already beautiful as it is on the PS4. So I've seen it on the trailers and all that stuff on PC. It's like, wow, that looks great. But
Yeah,
yeah, uh, not running that. So in the end, Atlas, just put your games on PC already, and then you don't have to worry about that necessarily. People might actually go buy your game there. So then you also have the PlayStation 4 partially cracked with an extremely old firmware. Hackers were able to run backup games of GTA 5, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed 4, and Knights of the Fallen. The firmware is like 1.70, and I think they're like double that right now.
yeah, they're at
So,
least 3.5, 3.7, I think.
yeah.
So
So,
there's two things. Not many PS4s have that firmware. I mean, let's be honest here. Unless you go to like a
most
game,
people choose to update when it says update. So,
well, that and the PS4s they sell in stores now, they don't have it. Like you can maybe find one like a GameStop, like a used store or something. That's about it. And the other funny thing is these games are 50 gigabytes each, essentially.
yeah. Oof. So, they're big games, and they're the really old games too. So,
Yeah, like
uh,
newer games, like they require newer firmware. So
right.
this is a partial step into like I said, cracking open the system, but it's such a limited subset that it's not going to be like a huge dent in like piracy or anything.
Well, I mean, by this point, most people that have a PS4 already have one. So,
Yeah,
yeah, even if they crack it, I don't think the majority of people are going to be just not buying games or whatever. So, it is what this is for the hackers, and that's cool.
yeah.
But,
I mean, kind of why I just modded my Vita today, but not for piracy reasons specifically, just to do it because I want
right.
to have like open access. But my firmware when I got my Vita like a month or two ago was 2.10. The latest firmware in the Vita is 3.65.
Oof. Yeah. That's no wonder it took you 2 hours to update the thing.
Well, the latest hackable firmware is 3.60, so I had to find that, and like it took me a while to get that installed. It's a pain in the ass.
That seems like, yeah, just a pain.
Yeah.
Really. Having to find a specific one instead of just being able to go, okay, update, man.
Yep.
Uh, if you still have your Wii and you use it for shopping or just the eShop or whatever, the Wii Shop channel will be shutting down in January 31st, 2019. You'll be unable to add points to your Nintendo account starting March 26, 2018. You will still be able to download previously bought titles and transfer them to the Wii U, but that functionality will also be going away sometime in 2019. So, yeah, this is the thing with digital age, right? At some point, they can decide to shut down the online part, and whatever's left on your system when the online stuff goes away, that's all you have. Anything that you have in the, the ether or the previously downloaded, you can't download that anymore. So
I think they actually, no, they have said that you can download stuff before. You just can't buy anything new. But also the Wii is so cracked open, so that it doesn't really matter either way. Like,
I think they mean the transferring to the Wii U is going to go away.
Yeah, that's what they meant.
Yeah.
I meant like if you had a game and you deleted it, you can still download it for a while longer.
Right.
That's not going away yet completely, but
I remember somebody from GameStop telling me that they were gonna like last year or this year, and we're almost into 2018 now. They were gonna do away with 360 and PS3 online or whatever. It was like they're still coming out with free games for those systems. I highly doubt that that's.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. They just did cancel the Xbox Indie Game channel, I think. Like, that's gone. But I think those things are going to remain for years because, hell, like, the Xbox One is built on that shit. Like, they're literally taking your 360 games and going, okay, you own this, download and, like, here's the emulated version of it.
Yeah, because all I do is I go to the 360, I press download for 10 seconds, I hit cancel, I go into my storage, delete it from my storage, and then it magically appears on my Xbox One for downloading.
Yeah.
So.
And the same thing with PS4. Like, that's the big reason you can't change your PSN account is because PS4 is built on the PS3's architecture, network architecture, and they didn't allow it. So that's not going away. I mean,
it's still weird to me that you can't just buy a different PSN name, but I get it. Like, that causes a lot of problems with the. It's the same thing would happen with your 360, with your Xbox account. If you change your name and they didn't understand that, some of your stuff that you bought may not transfer over, and then you have the problem of when you try to go re-download it, they have to figure that out. So.
Yeah. I actually had two Xbox Live accounts at one point because like one was like really old and not attached to my like main email for some reason, and yeah, it was a mess.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think, like, to be fair, like the Wii's had a pretty long run, and it's not like I think most of the Wii other crap is already shut down, so this is kind of the last nail in the coffin. But
oh yeah. I mean, it seems it's no surprise that that's shutting down. Whatever, they're already 2 game system cycles away from the Wii. That stuff's gonna go. I mean,
it's not like the Everybody Votes channel's still working.
yeah. I know there was people that was actually mad about that going away. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo, Telltale says that they are a perfect match for the Switch and that no series is out of question for a Switch port. They're looking backwards and forwards. They already said that Batman Season 2, Wolf Among Us Season 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy will be coming to...
So look forward to The Walking Dead Season 1 on the Switch coming soon.
Even though they just said that apparently Walking Dead for Switch they got to go in and make sure they don't have to do extra stuff to get it on there, but it's going to eventually be on there, especially if they're making a final whatever. If they're making the effort to put Batman Season 1 on there when Season 2's already out and already got 2 episodes, they are they are a stickler company for doing stuff in order, and I appreciate that. I think that's cool. A lot of other people don't. So
I just really question. I know I've brought it up before. I question the power of the Switch for that stuff, because
if 360 and PS3 can run it, and yes, I know they had problems.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. Like, I mean, I think people had problems with Batman on PS4. Like it was jacked up for certain people there. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like they made it be damn sure those things run well, but I honestly don't think Telltale cares either way.
I don't think Telltale cares, and I think as long as you can get through the game and it doesn't crash to where it doesn't work, I think that's all that matters with those games, because it's not like you're just, doing these super elaborate, action sequences or whatever, other than in Batman where they want you to flick a stick and it's like 2 seconds slow. And
that's what turned me off in that Batman game. I was like, fuck this. The first fight with Catwoman, I'm like, this is terrible.
Like, oh my god. You're having me press... Not only are you having me press the button that takes forever because it's like having to wait till it gets the last second. You got to press the stupid thing. And then you got to like flick the stick all the time. And then you flick the stick and it moves like 2 seconds later. And by then it's already at the next thing you're supposed to do. What the hell?
It feels like Dragon's Lair or something. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
It's like, come on, guys, you're on the PS4. Like, why is it still running like it's on the 360 or whatever? Get it together. Get it together already. It feels like it's been a while since we talked about this, but this may be good, finally. Vivendi, because of French law, Vivendi has the possibility of owning 30% of the company due to shares and everything else. Once you get to that point, Vivendi has to decide if they want to do a complete takeover of Ubisoft, which is something that Yves Guillemot has been trying to avoid for a long time now, or they can just sell their shares and go back to not owning anything of Ubisoft like they did before. And he's completely right when he says a video game company cannot grow with an immediate conglomerate, because we've already seen how that works. You get 1 million Assassin's Creeds and all the other games that are we'll go back to getting those annually, and we won't get anything, innovative. Like, Mario plus Rabbids may still happen because you're tied with Nintendo, but Ubisoft's really good about sort of coming up with newer things, and that may not happen anymore. So hopefully this takeover doesn't happen.
Yeah, I always question this takeover because they got rid of Activision, and it's like, what good call there? Like, you idiots. I think this is probably just, the stock has risen, so they'll probably just dump the stock if anything. Like if Vivendi did take over Ubisoft, like, do you think Assassin's Creed would have got that break last year? Like, hell no. They would have pumped out 3 games.
Yeah. They would probably, if they're smart, if they were going to do that, you do the Activision system where you have 3 different developers working on it on yearly cycles or whatever to make sure it doesn't.
No, I don't. That's smart in one way if the developers are all good, but Treyarch is like, they've been failing.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that idea is better than having the same team work on it over and over and over.
Well, yeah, but that's also that's Assassin's Creed's problem, is they have so many teams working on it, that it becomes like a bloated mess eventually. Like, that was just Unity's problem for sure. Like, there's no vision with that game whatsoever, and the vision they had was so bad. It's like, eesh.
Yeah, I'm glad that they had that time off, because it seems like Origins is going to be really good. Look, it still has a lot of the same Assassin's Creed things in it, but you knew that wasn't going away. But it's interesting that it's in Egypt and in a different setting.
Apparently the combat isn't just counter kill everything, so that might be kind of interesting.
Yeah, the good thing for Ubisoft is they're expanding. They already are going to open a new Quebec studio next year. And speaking of Assassin's Creed, just to continue with that, they're going to have an educational version of Assassin's Creed where you can basically just explore Egypt, learn about Cleopatra, mummification process. I feel like I'm back in high school again, or I forgot where I learned about the mummy thing. But hey, yeah, it's a discovery tour of Assassin's Creed. So
yeah, if you're gonna build the art assets and have all the historical crap in there, might as well, actually expand it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think that I'm glad when Minecraft has a spot like that in education already. There are other games that serve that purpose, so I'm always happy to hear about games further pushing into educational process, and more kids get to learn through gaming. That's good. That means more kids are gaming
Yeah,
with something besides their phones.
yeah.
We need that. We don't need people just gaming with their phones and nothing else. Do it with your PS4, your PC, your whatever. It's it's a good thing.
Your SNES Classic.
Yeah, even your SNES Classic. Why not? Why not? They need to learn about the systems of old. So, speaking of studios expanding, well, you have one that is basically ceasing, uh, not only production, but just basically ceasing as a. They're not dying off, but they're just kind of sitting still, I guess, if you want to call it that. Everybody's gone to Rapture Developer, the Chinese room, which are basically the people that created the walking simulator. They are not only done with walking simulators and story games, as pretty much the co-founder and founder have stated, they are going to. They laid off their entire development team. And only the founder, co-founder, and lead designer are left for now. It always sucks to hear about layoffs, but the way they make it seem is like those people were just really not wanting to work either. That's kind of weird. But they crunched. Basically they're complaining that they crunched harder than the other employees, and so I guess they felt that right now until they figure out what they want to do, they're just kind of ceased the studio. But they're the people who made Dear Esther, which is a really good game, and everybody's gone to Rapture as well.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's gone to Rapture kind of did what they thought it was. I think they expected it to be like that. What's that other one I'm thinking of? Oh, it came out on PC and Xbox One, I think. Damn.
The one with In the Park.
Well, you're in yeah, I guess. I can't forget it, but yeah,
Or Gone Home, or
I don't think it quite bit off like as much as they wanted it to.
right.
Uh,
They wanted it to be bigger, and it didn't catch on.
right. So,
Yeah, that
I
was the
mean,
thing too. Like when it came out, I remember a lot of people talking about it, and then it was like that first week people were playing it, and then after that, it's like no one talked about it.
yeah, like games like What Remains of Edith Finch kind of took over, I think, a little,
Yeah.
and then, uh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shame, but I actually didn't really like their games to begin with. Like I have Everybody's Gone to Rapture, and I didn't get into it at all. Like I like a direction of a game, or I like go here and do this, or at least have some indication of what I'm supposed to do.
Right, yeah. It seems like that game has either got people that were really big fans of it or just people didn't like it all.
Yeah,
Uh, it's not like some of the other, I guess, walking simulators, quote unquote, where it seems like they've got much bigger fans. Like it becomes a just raving success. And this one, like you said, just kind of didn't catch on with people. Unfortunate for them, but at least it made them realize that they need to change what they make as far as games go. So we turn from people making games to people making systems, retro systems, that is, or at least trying to make them in a newer way. The Atari Box finally has its specs announced, and turns out it's going to be a Linux-based system that's going to allow you to stream games, listen to music, among other PC type things. Uh, it's going to have a custom AMD chip with NVIDIA graphics, and it's going to cost somewhere between $250 and $300, and launches in spring 2018. And I still wonder why the hell you would need this, but okay.
Oh, I was thinking of the Vanishing of Ethan Carter before. But yeah, this thing's dumb. It's a streaming. It's a nicer looking Ouya.
Like, Atari, why? I mean, at least the Ouya was what, $100. This thing is.
I mean, it's going to be more capable than an Ouya for sure because it's has actual chips inside. But
it's like, who doesn't have a PC that already does this? I mean,
yeah. And what games is this going to run? It'll run Atari games and run probably damn near any. I mean, it'll be a nice little emulator box, I'm sure, because it's running Linux, but it's also running Linux. There's not a ton of Linux games out there. I mean, that's kind of why Steam OS failed. They didn't get Linux off the ground at all.
With all the things, with all the, with Xbox One X being there, PS4 Pro, SNES Classic, Nintendo's probably gonna make another classic thing. The Switch, all that. It's not like there's not competition out there already. Just
I'm hoping for the Virtual Boy Classic.
That's probably not happening.
It'll be a Virtual Boy. It'll be a Virtual Boy with all 20 games built into it. That's it. That's all you need.
I mean, with VR the way it is, I mean, you know what? It could happen. Maybe they'll be like, "Hey, you want to play VR, but in black and white? Here you go."
No, black and red.
Oh yeah, but that's right, black and. Maybe they'll update and have color.
Yeah. No, but this Atari thing, I think it's a desperate gamble on their part, and I mean, I don't think it'll come out honestly. Or if it does, it'll just be such a
it's such a joke. And it's
yeah,
come on, people. I hope to God this is not one of the things that, of all the things that could be kickstarted and be successful and that people actually could use. This is one of those that I'm sorry to say, but just let it go, just please.
Yeah.
Speaking of, hey, you got the SNES Mini. Well, did you want a Commodore 64 Mini? Because it's gonna come out now, apparently. So this Commodore 64 is a fully licensed mini version. It's 50% of the size of the original. And it looks very much like the 1982 console with high definition output with HDMI, a bundled joystick, 2 USB ports so you can have keyboards or more joysticks, and you'll get Iridium, Paradroid, Montimo, and Hawkeye included, and there's also more of them that are going to come out. It's going to cost $69.99, and a full-size version is going to come out later. At least it's nicely priced, I guess.
I've never touched or played a Commodore 64, so I don't care about this thing at all.
I don't either.
That's kind of my rationale for I didn't get the NES Mini Classic when that came out because I never had a NES as growing up as a kid. So, I mean, right. I played it at friends' houses and stuff, but I never owned one. I played those games years later on an emulator. What?
Exactly. Yeah, that was my brother had it. I played it for a little bit. My best friend, when I was really young, had one. And when we went to his house, it was something that I played a little bit here and there, but the SNES was my first console.
Yeah, mine too. I had growing up, I had a Game Boy. I had several Game Boys actually, because they'd break or I'd lose them or whatever. And I think I had a Game Gear, but that was about it. And the first home console I got was a SNES, and then a Genesis quickly after.
I never had any Sega system until the Dreamcast.
I had all of them. I didn't have the Master, but I had the Genesis, then I got the Sega CD, then the 32X.
Nice.
Which was dumb.
Yeah, I didn't own the original Game Boy, but I've had every other Game Boy after that. So I started with the Pocket.
I had 5 original Game Boys.
Do they all still work?
No, I mean they'd break or I'd lose them or stuff like that. I think one of them had the screen went bad on it, which is really weird.
I'm looking at the website that has all the games that are apparently included on. This
Yeah,
is
it's nothing you've heard of, or it's stuff so old that you don't care either way.
Impossible Mission, not
Yeah.
Mission Impossible. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is nothing you've heard of. I mean,
I
look,
mean,
it's go ahead.
I think for people older than us, like 35 or 40, maybe it'll be interesting. Or like if it's maybe British people will dig it. That's about it.
I mean, this was a system that was big in 1982. I wasn't born till like 4 years later, so
Yeah,
you know.
pretty much the same thing. So
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that these things are coming out, right? Like,
well, it's cool if they're well made. Like that was the
right.
problem with the recent Atari flashback and Genesis console. They quickly said was defective when it's like that's horseshit and you know it. Like
Right.
Like those things aren't well made, but the SNES Classic, that's a good piece of little technology.
Yeah, exactly. It's sturdy. It works. Yeah, the controller is still the cord is too small, but
I mean, you can get
you know.
extensions, and who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. Right. I mean, if that's the only thing you can point at, other than like you really could have made it to where if you want to use a save state or something, you can reset it with the controller and not have to reset the system. But
Yeah.
you know, hey, they're trying to recreate what the system was, and if you had to reset it, that's how that worked.
Yep.
So, and in more, I guess, interesting hardware stuff, Resident Evil 2, the board game, has been kickstarted and it's already met its goal. Don't know if it'll make the Dark Souls $5 million goal, but that's cool. I mean, I know you're a Resident Evil 2 fan. Are you wanting to? So apparently, it's the question. You can 1 to 4 players can control a familiar Resident Evil character in an attempt to escape Raccoon City and the zombie horde. Players will have to conserve their limited ammunition as they seek to reach the end goal while surviving random zombie attacks.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Resident Evil 2 fan. I'm not a board game fan at all. So, hear of? Oh, go on.
I mean, like, my family is not. My mom would kill me if I showed up with a hey, let's play this game with zombies in it. Like, but
I'll tell this story real quick. Ever heard of a game called Legendary? It's a board game, kind of, or board / card game. It's a Marvel-based board and card game.
Okay.
A friend of mine introduced this to me about a month ago. You basically create, pick heroes you like, pick villains, and you face off and stuff like that. He had, I'm not even kidding when I say this, like 4,000 cards for this fucking thing.
Wow.
Because he had all these different sets. Like he had like the main set, and then he had like the Fear itself set, and the Civil War set, and the X-Men set, and all these different expansion sets. And for every set or every card, he had them in plastic cases, backing cases.
Jeez.
So he had 4,000 cards, 4,000 cases. And I'm looking at all these cards. I'm looking at all this stuff, and I asked him, how much did all this cost? And he kind of gave me this stare and said, far too much. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, well, it's the same thing with my Steam library. When I have over 2,000 games on Steam, so same thing.
I understand that, but it's like, does he have people that will play that game with him?
Well, it's the same thing. You can play it on. You can play it. You can play You can play against yourself, which is bizarre to me, honestly. But you can do it. Like there's a Guardians of the Galaxy expansion, or a Fantastic Four expansion, all this other stuff, and it's like, I guess this is all fine, but yeesh.
I mean, there's a lot of board games that you can sort of play against yourself, so it makes sense. But
I mean, I'd just rather play like Monopoly against a computer or something. That's the extent of my board game knowledge, or what I care to get into,
yeah, agree with you there.
or
Just
the game of life when you got to spin that wheel. Like that's fun to me.
life. Spent so much time playing that game. You play that game in real life right now. So yeah, it's a weird thing for me.
Yeah. Oh, the one other thing that is interesting. Well, that Skyrim is adding the survival mode that you have to pay for. Fuck them.
I guess because they feel like people will pay for it.
Well, like they added a survival mode to Fallout 4, and it was free. This thing costs $15 for a game that is what, 6 years old, 5 years old.
Did they have to add a lot more stuff to this one or something?
No, it's all like you're cold, so your fatigue goes down. Oh, you're tired, so you don't have much stamina. All this other like stupid crap. It's not adding much of anything.
Warrior needs food now.
Pretty much.
So no, I like maybe they are saying, well, we're releasing Skyrim for the Switch, so people are into buying Skyrim stuff some more. So let's charge them for this, and maybe we'll get idiots that will pay this. I guess if you want another reason to go through and play Skyrim, I don't know why you would need one, but
yeah, like I would say this. I mean, since they've introduced their like paid mod stuff, that it just seems like they're ripping off people.
yeah, just don't pay for people, and they will stop doing it. But
yeah,
there has to be people that have bought it, and that's why they keep doing this. It's dumb, but sadly, there will be those people that do. Valve is smart and finally removed shovelware from developer Silicon Echo, who was using assets from Unity games to then make cheaper games themselves. It's a system known as Asset Flip. And good on you, Steam or Valve. I wish you would just remove half the games that get added on Steam so there isn't such a large quantity of crap on there. But
yeah, like it is trying to keep up with Steam nowadays. You can't do it. Every day that like new release list flips, and it's like, wow. And like you said, half the games are just either bad.
Well, it's becoming like the mobile marketplace at this point.
Yeah, it is, because they're essentially porting over a lot of mobile games to this thing. So it's like, oh my god.
It's like if you didn't want to play it on your phone, I guess you can play it on the PC. So why not?
Yeah.
Sadly, also Volition, due to Agents of Mayhem not selling very well, which I think we both said that we didn't expect it to sell well, even though it looked interesting. Laid off around 30 people, including their general manager, Dan Cernak, which that's not good usually when you let go of the general manager. But yeah, it's the reality of the games industry. Your game doesn't sell after you're trying to make a AAA thing. This is going to happen.
I think the problem, I think Agents of Mayhem would have been a fine enough game if it launched well. Like, it probably would have been boring in spots, but who cares? But I heard that game was super buggy at launch.
Mm-hmm.
And that can kind of just kill a game because people don't want to play it.
I also heard no one talking about it too.
Yeah. So it's not a surprise. I guess it's a shame. I think they're kind of stuck in a corner because they can't make. It's hard for them to make a Saints Row 5. Like, what are they going to do? Time travel?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they could, but.
I mean, I feel like that audience is out there if they did.
Yeah, but like, think about like where Saints Row 4 went. Like, they blew up the Earth first of all, and everyone has superpowers. Like, what are they going to do with Saints Row 5? Go to like alien planets and do that?
I guess they could. It'd
Yeah.
be really weird, but that's nothing new for that game. So, yeah, that's the problem. And I think that they were trying to create a new franchise and
Yeah.
it didn't work. You know, then people wonder why sequels keep getting made, because a lot of times when you do make new franchises, people aren't as receptive to them. And of course, it also helps. You know, the game needs to be not only good but not have problems. And
Yeah.
that game had both. Getting into movie stuff, really not going to spend too much time here. Michelle Williams may star as the love interest for Eddie Brock in Venom. And also, the director has announced that this is not going to be part of the MCU. There was talk that Sony might try to start their own version of the MCU. Not happening. They're just not going to. It's going to be just its own film, much like the Black Cat and Silver Sable film that is still in production somehow.
That's never going to get made.
This is apparently going to come October 5th, 2018, so a year from now. There's also one more person from Rogue One that's attached to this. Zombieland's Ruben Fleischer is directing, and it's supposed to be like a horror movie version of Venom. So, okay. I'm not a big Venom person, so.
Venom, like, it's the same problem as like them wanting to do like a Boba Fett movie. Like,
right.
It's a cool. It's a visually interesting character, but that's it. The dude has no personality except for like Venom is like eat brains. Like, okay, where do you go from there?
Can't you tell the story of like, but you know, it almost borders on Incredible Hulk sort of as well, of that like struggle inside with him and the Venom suit and all that.
I mean, they could, but I don't think Sony's gonna want, that's not gonna sell action figures.
You really have to go dark with that in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Honestly. Which, I guess if you're going horror film, you could that way, but what are you gonna? I don't know. What is it gonna be? Just Venom killing things? I don't know how you do a horror film take on that, and somehow it's supposed to be good. But all right, and Carnage may be in it, so cool.
Of course.
Yeah, yes, it has to be. Men in Black reboot spin-off talk again. This time it's not the 21 Jump Street mashup that for some reason was being bandied about. Now it's just a spin-off using the world created from the first three movies to make another movie, but they don't even have any actors or anything for this yet.
Time to bring back Linda Fiorentino.
If I'm Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones, just stay far, far, far away from this. I can't imagine.
If you're Tommy Lee Jones, you say, fuck yeah, like what else has he got going on?
I just can't imagine, even if you tell me Tommy Lee Jones is the movie, people are just going to go see it. I think the kids nowadays don't even know what Men in Black is. Or care, for that matter, because it's been a long time since Will Smith was in a good movie. So...
What are you talking about, man? He was in After Earth. That's all you need.
Oh, or Independence Day.
He wasn't in that.
Or even that was bad. So.
Well, hey, you got to see a lot more Brent Spiner in his underwear, so that gets passed by me.
That's what everybody wanted to see.
Damn straight.
So, talking about more reboots, Sony wants Charlie's Angels reboot, but with Kirsten Stewart and Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o. I like Lupita Nyong'o enough. Kirsten Stewart fills a role in that movie. Fine, I guess. I liked the Charlie's Angels movies when I was a lot younger. The remakes.
You just kind of.
I was also a huge and still am I was huge. Drew Barrymore was like a crush of mine for like a long time. So her being in it also helped. But you know, it's I think it worked back then in like the 2000s or whatever. I don't know about now, but whatever floats your boat, I guess, Sony.
When are they gonna make it? When are the screw Charlie's Angels? Make another VIP remake or make another VIP show.
What are they gonna have for Pamela Anderson?
Pamela Anderson. They'll get her
Again?
back.
No. I don't. Yeah, no. I mean, the only thing saving grace, I think, is that Elizabeth Banks is directing it. So
She is an oddly good director. Like I haven't like I don't like she has crossed over from being an actress to be like being a fairly decent director.
yeah, I mean, Pitch Perfect, that series has been good. She's the one that did Pitch Perfect too, but yes, I feel like her that's the thing. I think she already had that experience being an actress, and then I think she's kind of had producer roles at times, and then she got to be a director. So
Yeah,
she's done well, and it could work. I don't know.
I just think I don't never like Charlie's Angels, so
Yeah,
like,
I never
okay.
really care for the show either. So it's one of those.
Make another Debs movie.
Coming to America sequel 30, 40 years later.
30.
30 years later. Kenya Barris has been tapped to write it with Jonathan Demme to direct. I can't imagine Eddie Murphy is going to reprise the role. Has he even been acting at all? I mean,
I think he will. Like, what else does he have going on?
because it's like just because you were in something before doesn't mean you want to be in it again.
Also, like that was I think one of his biggest roles, except for Beverly Hills Cop. That was before, obviously, but
Nutty Professor.
that was way after. That was 10 years after, at least. But I think he does it. I mean, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I think he would do it. I mean, have you seen Coming to America, the first one?
Yes.
I think he'd be the King role. Like, he'd be the James Earl Jones role. He's in it for 10 minutes.
Never mind. He is in the Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I think he's in it for, just for, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I think it'd be just his son taking over the role. Or, his son coming to America and looking for a wife and, somewhere else.
Yeah, so he's in Beverly Hills Cop 4 that's been announced. I don't know if they're actually filming anything with it. And he's also in the Richard Pryor, Is It Something I Said? And he's playing Leroy Pryor.
Yeah, and he still does all those fucking Shrek movies, so.
Well, come on. Like, he made Donkey and Shrek, let's be honest.
Yeah, but they're making another one.
Oh, God. Why? And he also was in the Beverly Hills Cop TV movie that came out like 4 years ago. So. Hey, look, the dude. Hey, I mean, I don't blame him for living with those old characters. Why not? So you're right. Maybe he will come back because if he's still doing freaking Axel Foley at this point, why not do the Coming to America? DC apparently has now decided that they are de-emphasizing the shared universe. In fact, they are blaming the media, saying that they've never officially used shared universe or DC universe or whatever. That was people connecting the two. So now they're going to release future DC movies on a side label to make it to where they're different from the main DC universe movies or whatever. Basically, all their little side story things like the Joker and Harley Quinn and Joker Origins and all that, I guess, would go on that side level, which is fine, I guess, but seems weird that you need to de-emphasize that. Marvel does it just fine.
Well, one of the things DC has said, like, I think someone at Warner Brothers, we don't want to confuse the audience, and it's like, you're confusing the audience by you not having a fucking plan. Like,
you already confused the audience by having a different TV actor and a different movie actor and having the movie and you can have a movie and the TV show coming on be on at the same time and they can be completely different and you don't care. And it's like, I mean, I enjoy Gotham. I love Gotham, but I really hate that they like accelerated that storyline to where now you have Bruce Wayne and like he basically he's almost at the point where he has the suit.
Yeah, he's in a costume and
yeah, it's like, what? Like, why did we get to this point already that quickly? Like, I get not like beating around the bush like sometimes it felt like Smallville did, but it's like there is a way that's like it's going too fast because now at some point you're gonna have to have Batman on the show. Like, how do you get to season 5 if he's already wearing a pre-Batman suit and he's not Batman by season 5? I don't know, but okay. And you're about to have another Batman movie. I mean,
or like them aging up, what Pamela Isley or whatever her name is. Like that's so dumb and weird.
Yeah.
Like you defend that show, but I lost interest in that show like season 1. I'm like, no, this is.
I like seeing them develop the villains. Really, is what I like the most. Like Scarecrow just showed up or whatever, and I like that part of it more than say what they're doing with Bruce Wayne and all that.
Yeah. But
and alas with DC.
Like they wanted us to just have their Avengers movie, Justice League and Superman versus Batman, and they built none of the groundwork, so no one cares. Like that's why, I mean, Wonder Woman worked kind of because it's an origin movie, and
because it's really good.
Yeah, you need a few. Like it's not directed by Jackass, and you need a few origin movies to set up the larger universe going forward. Like if Marvel had just made like their Avengers 4, like, Avengers with the Guardians of the Galaxy, they just came out that, 10 years ago, it would have bombed because no one would care about those characters.
Yeah.
But because they invested the time and money into building up, Thor and Captain America and, like, Star-Lord and all that crap, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, because you care about them. Every movie that comes out for those characters, you care about them more. You learn more about their other characters, so that when they make appearances in those Avengers movies, you're like, oh wow, cool, this guy's in there and that person's in there, and all that. So, like, Justice League can't have any of that stuff because it's like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah.
Other than like, okay, obviously who the main stars are, but any of those villains, any of that, you're like, if I'm not a DC nerd, I don't know who the hell this is. So it's dumb. They're not like Marvel understood that you have to go to the casual audience in order to get the people get the mass like money. I think also Wonder Woman works because we're in 2017 and all this stuff about women's empowerment and all the stuff is huge deal right now. So like that helped it along, and it helped again that you have Gal Gadot who did a really good job. You have a really good movie, being an origin movie, and on all those things together. Whereas you have Batman versus, yeah, we have a million Batman movies. At this, I know we don't have a million of it, but you get my point. They've tried a gazillion times with Superman. It doesn't seem to work. So they just went with, okay, let's just do Batman versus Superman. Well, okay, the point is people didn't want to hear them talk and do the crap they did in that movie.
Speaking of that, did you see the Terminator 6 movie is just going to ignore Terminator 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah, God. James Cameron's so full of himself at this point.
It's going to be great. Like, what are they going to do?
And the dude has the idiocy to go talk crap about the Wonder Woman movie, too. It's like, come on, man. Stop it.
Like, I want the... Like, if they're bringing back Linda Hamilton to be Sarah Connor, that's fine.
Yeah.
They need to bring back Eddie Furlong to be John Connor, though. That'd be hilarious. A bloated, drugged out John Connor.
Oh, God.
He's balding and, like, hitting his girlfriend, abusing her.
Lord. Let's not. Your Name is getting a live-action film to join the millions of, it seems like, animes that are going to get live-action films. Sword Art Online is also getting a live-action series for sure now, as they've signed a multi-year contract. J.J. Abrams is going to direct this one, so I feel like I'm a little bit more interested. Your Name is an awesome anime movie, and it's also the highest-grossing film to come out of Japan, earning a global sum of $355.2 million last year. So, yeah, it's really good. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but...
What?
Yeah.
Anime?
I'm saying the Your Name movie is actually really good, but yeah. So I'm sure that I will probably get in a conversation with one of our staff members, Angel, about this at some point. But yeah. So again, after about this time last month is when we started getting like every week there's some big game coming out, and this week is no different as Forza Motorsport 7 coming out for PC and Xbox One. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, the remaster of the PS3 and 360 game, which is also sort of an expansion on the original Dragon's Dogma. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions is the remaster of the DS Superstar Saga game. And later on, this is actually extended into almost next week, Middle-earth Shadow of War coming out for Xbox One and PS4. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time comes out on Switch for some reason. A Hat in Time. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of Switch games coming out this week and next week, but it's all like stuff you've already played before, so it's like, why? Who cares?
Oh, there was like, I think last week, like 20 games all of a sudden dropped on the Switch. I was like, holy crap, this got loaded really fast. I mean, I appreciate that if for some reason you're only a Switch owner and you never got to play any of these indie games, I think that's cool that they're coming. But it's just like, Jesus, like, oof. You also have the A Hat in Time, the indie game Battle Chasers Network, which actually looks really good, which is an RPG based on the comic by Joe Mad, who's the guy behind Jesus. Why can't I think of the name? Not just Dark Horse, but the games.
The Darkness?
No. They just had a remaster. It's having a new one with a woman character, based on the Horseman.
Oh, Darksiders.
Yes, that. So yeah, that actually looks really good. That's coming out for all systems. And the newest Layton game, Layton's Mystery Journey, is coming out for 3DS. So that's cool. And yeah, so lots of games coming out within the next week and a half or so. Obviously, people are going to be want to get their hands on Shadows of War, that's gonna be all kinds of awesome. So, all right, until next week. We've at least been good about doing this for 2 weeks in a row now. So, until next week, we will see you later, folks. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you hear. Visit w2net.com, forumania.com, and we'll see you next week. Later, everybody.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit w2mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.